I didn't put on those pants again. Okay, but here it is. Hi, so today I'm going to be talking about my regrets of studying abroad in Europe, but I don't regret at all going. These were just things that I wish I could have done or had so that I would have been a little more pleasant over there and during my time back here. We're gonna go from small to big regrets, and I have about 5 regrets about how I could have made my time abroad better and how you can make your time studying in Europe better. These are really good if you're from America. Some of them are like more adapting to European culture from American culture, but your culture might be similar to Americans in the factors that I'm going to be talking about. So the first one is that it's cold. It's always cold. I always talk about how going to Europe made my life really freezing, almost unbearable weather-wise. Okay, so my first tip is to bring hand warmers. So my sister had like a whole bag of these things that you shake and then they get warm, and you like can put them in your pocket or wherever, so that, or in your gloves maybe, so that your hands are warm because those are so hot. And I wish I brought them, but I thought it was going to be a lot in my suitcase, but it would have been worth it because coming from Texas specifically, it was so cold. But a lot of people also from America thought it was just very, very cold, especially since we were in like Paris, the north of France, and Europe is already like higher in latitude than America, so we're not used to that cold of temperatures unless you're from like the very north of the US. Maybe Canada. My Canadian friends were used to the cold, but my friend from Michigan at the time thought it was even cold too, and that's like the north side of the US. So I would definitely try to bring hand warmers and just bring warm clothes. It gets a little warmer near the end, but still not that warm. I actually will be making a video, and I'll link it up here somewhere in the corners, on warm clothing hacks for studying abroad in Europe, because there were a couple more things I can talk about and help you to stay warm, because it's definitely a change coming from the US and living in Europe, especially north of France or anywhere that is actually cold. The south of Italy, maybe not that cold, but I'm sure it still gets kind of cold, so they could still help you. My second tip is that I wish I had a GoPro or maybe a camera or action camera, and my roommate also regretted this too because she like went ziplining in Europe, so that would have been a nice video, and I like went like cliff jumping for the first time, even though I'm not a very good swimmer, and I was just jumping into the middle of the ocean, and that was like the peak of my study abroad experience, and honestly my life. I call it my highest high ever. And I wish I had a GoPro or an action camera that could have been in the water with me, or even a camera that would have like followed me around during my whole time, because it was really fun and very funny. It was a good time. But now I had a camera and now I'm making YouTube videos, so subscribe and hit the notification bell by the subscription button to see how I use this camera and to see my future travels, because now I have something and now you can see how fun my life is, especially when I leave and travel and have fun. I also make a lot of tip videos, so like this, and then the warm clothing hacks video. I do a lot for travel, study abroad tips, and career tips are coming up soon. So another one of my regrets is taking out loans for my study abroad experience, and I really didn't need to. I'll give you some numbers. I spent $8,000 about while I was abroad, and that included like all like my hygiene stuff, like my hair shampoo, body wash that I bought there, from like my rent and my travels. And my rent just at home the semester before, like the rent that my parents help pay for at the school I attend normally, would have been like $6,000. So I spent $2,000 more than what my parents would have paid for rent, but I didn't ask them to pay or give me any money, so that was on me. But I also had $5,000 in scholarship. So I really only had to pay $3,000, which is like half the price of a semester at home that my parents would have paid for. So I took out loans instead of asking for them because I felt bad because that money was going towards traveling, really not towards like living and not towards school. It was towards me like having fun, having the time of my life. So I kind of regret that just because I know my parents could have helped me more and I could have had funds in other ways. I also had money workings, but I kind of regret taking out loans when I didn't need to. Some people do have to take loans and they use them, and they don't regret studying abroad, so they don't really regret taking out loans. And I only regret it because I didn't need to take out those loans. But if you need to take out loans, it shouldn't be something you regret if you have the time of your life abroad, which I have a tip video about that. And if you want it, I'll try to link it if I can, or it'll be in my study abroad playlist. Speaking about scholarships, I got $5,000 in scholarships, and $3,000 of that was from the Gilman International. Did you see that? I missed it. I missed my finger. $3,000 of that was from the Gilman scholarship program. I'll try to link it down below. They're a really great program, and they only really help. You have to see if you qualify, but if you do, I would definitely recommend applying because it helps so much, and it is such a great program. I also would suggest looking at scholarships from your school because a lot of schools and departments within your university or college will give out study abroad programs. So I got one from my business school within my whole university, and that helped a lot too. So definitely look at the other types of scholarships you can apply for. There's a lot of scholarships just for studying abroad, so you get a better chance of getting those because it's such a small, specific group of people. So it already narrows down a lot because only so many people would study abroad during the time that you would be studying abroad. So I definitely recommend applying for study abroad scholarships. But I did take out some loans while I was there. So I'm in a small case of student debt. And if you are too, please like this video so I know I'm not alone. Because it kind of feels bad when I think about how I have to repay it. But study abroad was the best time of my life, so I don't really regret going at all whatsoever. I just regret taking out loans when I didn't need to, but it's okay. I'll pay them back. I have an internship, and hopefully that internship leads to my full-time job, and I'll be able to pay it back eventually. Like this video if you're in student debt, so I know I'm not alone, and so other people know they're not alone too, because it can be kind of a sad problem. My next regret is not being able to party hard. I wish I was a better partier. I wish I could actually go hard when I'm out, but American culture is a lot. No, it's not a lot of anything. It's just we don't party as hard as other people in different countries. Like my South American friends from Brazil were like, oh yeah, we party till like 6, 7 a.m. and then we just sleep the whole next day. And I'm like, what? I try to be in bed by like 3 a.m. And then Europeans, they also party really hard. They last like maybe 4 a.m. I don't know, depending where, depending on who. But they party a lot later than Americans. And I wish I could do that so that I could have been out more. I could have had more time out, make more memories while I'm out. Because, you know, when people are like drunk, things are funny. So I wish I could have been out more doing that. So I'm going to build my tolerance for the future. I'm trying to be better at that. And if you want to see me actually go out when I travel, party, follow me on Instagram because I post that more on stories rather than like YouTube because I can't really give you tips on that yet. But if you want to see me do better, follow me on Instagram. I'll put it up here and link it down below. My last regret about my study abroad experience was that I didn't know the language that well. It would have been a lot more beneficial if I could actually like speak French closer to fluently than where I was, because it's just better to know another language, and living in a country where that language is predominantly spoken is the best place and time to learn that language. So coming back to the US, I'm gonna have a difficult time trying to relearn French. When over there, it would have been a lot better. I wish I tried harder to learn French. I got away with knowing like what I did, and I prevented a couple scams or a little bit of cheating here and there because I knew what I knew, but I wish I was better. And if I was better at French, it would have helped me with my networking over there, because I thought at the beginning I wanted to live there eventually, since I was really into fashion and it's like the fashion capital and it's so fabulous. I ended up not wanting to live there anymore, but it would have been better if I wanted to like try to get a job or internship there knowing French, but knowing the language is always better. Even traveling to where you go, I didn't know like Italian at all, and when I went, I wish I could have spoken and communicated what I wanted better, because there was this fruit cup I really wanted, but she got me a fruit cup that had less fruits. But if I knew Italian, I would have been able to tell her the place you're going to be spending most of your time where you're living. I think that language is the most important, so I'm not mad about Italy, but it just showed me how you can really miss out on saying simple things and kind of get cheated in a way when you don't know the language of the people you're talking to. I would definitely recommend trying to really know the language, and not just being able to read or write it, because those are a lot slower and they take longer. You have more time to do that. Really, you need to learn how to learn to speak and understand, because that's really what you need when you're going to be communicating with other people face to face, which you're going to be doing while living. You can write and read later or in emails when you're back home, or text messages, but you can't talk face to face really unless you FaceTime them, which is kind of odd in a professional setting. And it's really hard to do that with your friends from across the pond with a different time zone. Hey, Nancy from the future. I just had another regret that I remembered, because I've been making so many of these videos to help other people get ready for study abroad, that I remember whenever I discovered all these travel tip videos and stuff like that, that I had remembered wishing that I watched these videos before, because I would have known a lot more and I would have been even more prepared for study abroad, on top of the research I was reading from articles and other people. So definitely try to binge watch some YouTube videos. I've made some helpful ones. I thought there are other good ones out there too that help you pack and stuff like that, and it just would be a lot more better if you get an idea of what they're saying. You'll be able to apply it if it's actually needed in your life. So definitely be looking out for more YouTube videos that will actually help you, because the more knowledge, the better. Looking at some of the regrets other people had during their study abroad time, I didn't share some of them because I'm not shy, and if you are shy, I would really recommend pretending, just faking it till you make it, pretending not to be shy, because having an outgoing personality and getting out of your comfort zone is really how you push yourself to make friends with all these different types of people that you're going to be surrounded with, and just the type of people that are going to be there. Another girl also didn't really like her study abroad experience because she went like her first year, which I think can be really hard, because your first year in college, that's like the year you need to transition from living at home to being on your own, and she did that while also adjusting to a whole new culture abroad. And that's really hard. Like, transitioning to college and living on your own is already hard enough. You don't want to put that on top of a whole new cultural experience. That's only if you've never really studied abroad, like lived in a whole new country, lived in a new place before, because it's really different. But yeah, that's just a whole new level of growth that I wouldn't recommend. And if you do that, good luck to you. Look at my tips video. Hopefully these regret video helped you. But I want to know when y'all are studying abroad, or when you're planning to study abroad. Comment when you're going to study abroad. If you're doing a gap year after high school, when you're doing the gap year, if it's after college, before getting a full-time job, I don't know. What year in college, if it's during college, if you're in high school, what year in high school. That would be really cool to see when people want to study abroad. Yeah, I hope these regrets help you get a better time while you're studying abroad. And if you have any other regrets or ideas or tips, you can always leave it in the comments to help other people that land on this video too, because I'm sure they'll appreciate it. And we all just want a great time while we're in Europe, studying and living, drinking, enjoying our life. I hope you live your best life. It's really a life-changing semester, if you let it be. Thanks for watching this video. But I'm trying. Okay.